Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today we're going to be talking about something released a couple of days ago from Wargaming, and that was the announcement of the Naval Training Center to be added in, I believe it's patch 8.7. It's kind of late to be announcing such a game-changing, I don't know if you want to call this a mechanic, or, I guess it kind of is a mechanic. Just a game-changing element. Literally, well, I guess not too much because the patches go 5 weeks now, so 10 weeks away from this thing being released, and they are now just announcing it to, well, everyone. And that's really short. I mean, they announce premium ships usually at least 4 months in advance, but this thing, no. We only get 10 weeks. So the way this is going to work is that I'm going to give you a very watered down, simplified version of how this works, is that there are now 3 upgrades you can get to any tier 6 plus ship, anything tier 6 plus, like premium, special event ship, whatever. You can put these improvements on it. So there's 3 levels of improvements. They're different for each class of ship. So let's just take a look at the battleships, the improvements to the battleships right now. So the first tier improvement, and this is for all battleships in the game, again, premium, tech line, doesn't matter. They can all get these 3 improvements. So the level 1 improvement is a survivability improvement. And that gives 15% to the hit points of the ship. That's a pretty large chunk of hit points to be slapping onto any other, any battleship, period. That's a big boost to their health. The tier 2 improvement is a main and auxiliary armament improvement. So that gives you negative 10% to the size of the dispersion ellipse. So you get a 10% boost to your dispersion. That's very, very good, especially on a battleship. And then 10% to the secondaries' firing range and their accuracy. That is also very, 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 very nice. And then the third level is the Consumable Boost, and that is a 10% buff to the reload time of all consumables, so they reload faster. A 40% boost to the action time of damage control. That on the American damage control, I think it would be close to being active for almost probably a solid 40-50 seconds maybe. I'm not going to do the math on top of that, but that'd be a long damage con. And a 1% charge of all consumables. So say this kind of explains why the Soviet BBs only have 1 less consumable than everyone else, because they probably figured this was coming out, and then them being so well armored and all that with even more consumables would have been too much. So yeah, so you can get 5 damage con of 5 repairs. I'm sorry, 6 repairs. Yeah, you get 6 repairs on some battleships, because you can get the start with 3, you get 4 with superintendent, and then 5 if you're using premium consumables. So 6 repair parties. 7 if you have Yamamoto and get first blood. Oh my god, that's a lot of repairs. Jeez. Wow. So anyway, and there are no downsides to these improvements, because they're not modules. They're just straight up improvements. So there's no downside. None of these have any downside. Now, the way you get them is kind of painful. So, in order to get this, you have to choose a line in the nation of, and this is all still very early work in progress, although they're going to have fun trying to figure this out in 10 weeks with the response the community's been. I waited a couple of days to do this because I want to see how the community was responding and see if they were going to release any more information, which they haven't really. So anyway, the way this is going to work, say if I wanted to get, because if this does come out, the only ship I'm going to, because this is going to take an enormous amount of time So the only ship I would even do this for would be the Kurfürst, because it's my favorite ship in the game. And the secondary range and accuracy boost, along with the boost to the dispersion, that sounds really, really nice for the Kurfürst, especially that would help out its guns, its main battery guns a lot. So the way this works is that, say I want to do the Kurfürst, I would have to choose one of the German lines that they have up to tier 10, which the only ship I have in the German tech tree is the Hindenburg. That's the only one I have up to tier 10. So I would have to choose to reset the German cruiser line back down to 1. I have to regrind that line up from tier 1 to the Hindenburg, and then that would get me 10 units for 10 units of this. I don't think they've named the currency or whatever for it yet, but that would give me 10. I'm sorry, not 10. You need 10 for the first level. Apparently, it gives you. And again, I don't know, because the article that they released for this, the language isn't exact. I'm not sure if it's just the translation from Russian to English, but it's not terribly specific. So I would earn, according to this, 12 units of resource for the German nation, and then 2 units of free resources. So it sounds like they're doing the whole line XP and then free XP. So you get 12, so that gives you access to the first level, and then two more for the German line, and then 2 for free whatever they're gonna call it. So you can use that on whatever. So that would give you access to tier 1. Now the tier 2, I'm just gonna call it tier, or because that's easier for me to say and get less tongue tied. So for the tier 2 improvement, you would need 20. So you'd have to go through it twice. Regrind a line tier 1 to tier 10 twice to get access to that second level, which would be the secondary and main battery improvement. That's a lot of grinding. And then for the tier 3, it doesn't say on the it doesn't say in the article. It just stops at tier 2. Yeah, doesn't say. Okay, so, but I would imagine it would be 30. So you need to grind up to the Hindenburg again 3 times again. So 6 times in total. You'd have to regrind one nation's some tech line in there 6 times in order to get the max improvement, upgrade, whatever you want to call it. That is a lot of grinding, and this is regrinding. It doesn't say whether or not you can do this on your first grind through, but it sounds like it's just regrinding. So for me, I would have to play German cruisers tier 1 to tier 10 6 times to get the max improvement for the Kurfürst. That is a lot. Now, supposedly you can use free XP, but my God, I have enough free XP to get through this once, twice, maybe? And even that, I would have to convert all my ship XP over, which would cost way too much money. Jeez, dang. Now, of course, the time to grind from tier 1 to tier 10, for me, it's usually about a month. Maybe a little less now because I have a lot of special camos and special flags, but still, that's a lot of grinding. So this is going to give people who have just huge amounts of time on their hands, so people who play the game a lot, so the people that are already probably super unicoms and stuff, they're probably going to get this stuff. I mean, not terribly fast, because it is limited by what they call seasoned, and you can only grind so many, you can only reset so many lines each season. So it is kind of limited in that perspective. But eventually, after I'd imagine 2 or 3 seasons, these ships, they're not going to be terribly rare. Seeing ships with all 3 upgrades at tier 10, or well, because you can put her in tier 6 to tier 10. So you could, if you have one of the old OP premiums like the Belfast or the Kutuzov, you could have those ships just absolutely decked out in these improvements. And let's see. Let's actually see what the cruiser improvements are. Do they list them? Yeah, here they are. So cruisers, yeah, so it follows the same 1, 2, 3 pattern. So survivability, they get 10% to hit points, negative 20% to rudder shift time. Main and auxiliary armaments, negative 15% to the size of the dispersion lips of main battery armaments, plus 10% to torpedo range, plus 10% to maximum damage of torpedoes. Consumables, negative 15% to the reload time of all consumables, and plus 1 charge of all consumables. So you can imagine what a Kutuzov and a Belfast is like with those improvements on it. Destroyers, the survivability, plus 10% to hit points, negative 10% to the reload time of consumables. That's in their survivability. Oh, they have a different one. So destroyers is survivability, main auxiliary armaments, and main armaments. So negative 20% to rudder shift time, negative 50% to steering gears repair time, negative 50% to engine repair time. So the destroyers get a lot in their tier 1 improvement. Their tier 2 improvement, main auxiliary armaments, negative 10% to reload time of torpedo tubes, negative 10% to reload time of main battery. Great, even faster guns for the Harugumo. Main armaments, plus 10% to maximum damage of torpedoes. So another, no, that was for cruisers. Okay, plus 10% to maximum damage of torpedoes, plus 2% chance of causing a fire. Great. So yeah, this is just going, the skill gap between people, casual players and hardcore players with this, it's probably going to just skyrocket, because these are significant advantages that they will have over casual players. And I see myself, I'm more of a casual player, leaning more towards the hardcore players, because I do this for YouTube. I do play this game more so than the average person, but I don't dump that much time into it as a hardcore player does. So that means this is probably just going to be an insane, just seal clubbing is going to just get so much worse after this. And this is going to throw a balance off really bad, because tier 10, and I'm thinking at tier 10 because I play mostly at tier 10. Tier 10 is supposed to be the most balanced tier, because it's top tier at most everyone up there. I'm talking about tier 10 versus tier 10, by the way, not like with all the tier 9 and tier 8s thrown in there, because you can't be up tiered. So it's usually where the most balanced gameplay happens, which is kind of why you get those sniping fests, because everyone's so, most of the time it's pretty evenly balanced as far as the ships go. But, and this is just giving, there's someone with a conqueror with a conqueror with these buffs. Jeez, a conqueror with another super heal. Wow. Or a Slava. Oh my god, a Slava with this stuff on it. Oh lord. Huh. That, a Slava with 10%, another 10% boost to its dispersion. On top of, you can already put the, I'm sure you can put the aiming systems module on Slava. Jeez. Well, to be fair, the wargaming, this is still a work in progress, although I don't think a whole lot's going to change within the 10 weeks before this comes out. As far as what I think about this, I don't know. I don't think this is the right way to do this. If you want to give long-time players, you want to give veteran players something to do, this is kind of just the extreme way of doing it. You could just made these same improvements available for the ships, but maybe make it worth like ship XP for that ship, because I mean, tier 10s, they just sit there and they just collect ship XP. I got like, I think almost 3 million ship XP on my Curve first, and I play that ship all the time. So maybe you could have done it where you spend ship XP for the tier 10 on that ship, or maybe once you unlock the next ship in the line for the ship that you have currently. So say the Bismarck, say I unlock the F3G. Now you could do two things with the XP that the Bismarck has. You can either convert it to free XP and use it for, you know, whatever, or you could spend it on the ship improvements. And I mean, you can make these ship improvements worth a lot to encourage people to play those ships. So say the first tier 1, the survivability boost for the battleships, that you can make that worth 1 million ship XP. That way you would have to play the Bismarck quite a bit. And then you can make the second one 2.5 million free XP. The third one 3.5 million free XP. You would have to play the Bismarck quite a lot to earn that much free that much ship XP on the Bismarck, or any ship for that matter. And of course, you could change it to where you have to unlock it for the prior ship in the line before you can unlock it for the next ship in the line, if you really wanted to just make it super grindy, which I think that would actually be less grindy than having to regrind a line 6 times to get the same consumable. I mean, to get the same improvement. And that way you don't make it to where you have to grind up to a tier 10 before you can even start that. You can start that back when you get to the tier 3 in the line, you know, because that, I mean, I'm just off the top of my head just thinking about that too. That would make it more accessible to everyone, because like I said, you don't have to grind to the tier 10 first and then go back and reset it. You can just start working on it right away. It will give you a reason to play the ship that you just got done grinding. You can start that grind for that improvement. And you could also scale it with the tier, because you don't get that much XP at tier 3 compared to tier 5. You can make it worth 500,000 XP or 20,000 XP for a tier 3. I mean, you can. I'm just saying. That's just off the top of my head. You can scale it with the tier to make it, you know, proportionate to that tier. There's no reason you need to make someone grind for 3 million XP on a Nassau, as entertaining as that would be to watch. And again, I think that sounds better than this and makes this less scary, because this is really going to throw balance off. But yeah, and who knows what Wargaming is going to do with this. They may scrap the whole thing, because the response to this has been overwhelmingly negative. Like, this blows this makes the CV rework look like a little hiccup now. Oh, and by the way, carriers aren't in this yet because they're still working on them. So there's that. So guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you excited for this? Are you not excited for this? Do you want Wargaming to just shelf this and never look back at it? Or what are your thoughts on it? Just let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. We're on our way to 4,000 subscribers, and we are under 500 subscribers away from that. You guys have been awesome the past couple of months. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope to catch all of you guys in the next one.